This is lesson 26 for course 1, adding and subtracting mixed numbers, part 2. So again, you should have already watched part 1 and done those lesson practice questions, and now you are on to part 2 to do these questions. So adding and subtracting mixed numbers, quick reminder, a mixed number is a number that has a whole number and a fraction. That is a mixed number, okay? Whole number, fraction, mixed number. So first thing we need to go over really quickly, this should be a little bit of a refresher from last year, but if it is not, there are some percentages that go with fractions that we were to memorize last year. So really quickly, 1/3 is equivalent to 33 and a third percent. Okay, and 1/6 is 16 and 2/3%. Now, if you can't remember these, they do have them inside the lesson portion of your textbook. So if you go back and look at the lesson, they do list these two here as well. I just wanted to go over them really quickly so that you can see them. But yes, okay, just quick reminder, 1/6 is 16 and 2/3%, and 1/3 is 33 and a third percent. Okay, now we're going to add and subtract some mixed numbers. So let's start off with 2/6 of a circle is what percent of a circle? So if you have 2/6 of a circle, what percentage do you have? Well, we've just learned that 1/6 is 16 and 2/3 of a percent. Okay, which means we're taking the 1/6 and adding the 1/6. So we have 16 and 2/3%, add 16 and 2/3%. Okay, now what we can do is we do our addition. I always start with the fractions because the mixed numbers might change depending on what the fractions are. So fraction, bring over your denominator just as normal. Okay, and then we add 2 and 2. 2 and 2 is 4. Now, if you notice, this now makes my numerator bigger than my denominator. What this means is I have a hole in here I need to separate. So how many whole threes is there in 4? There is 1. So I'm going to carry my 1 over my 16s, just so I know it's there. And if I'm taking 3 out, that's the whole, right? If I'm taking 3 out of 4, that means I am left with 1/3 as my fraction. And now I'm going to add my wholes. 16 plus 16 and 1. So 6 and 6 is 12 plus 1 is 13. Carry over 1, 2, 3. So you have 33. You have 33 and a third percent. Okay, that's adding mixed numbers. So I brought my denominator over just as normal. Then I added my numerators. Because my numerator was bigger than my denominator, I had to carry it over into the wholes. Okay, let's look at another one together. This next question asks us, use your this next one asks us, Rory lives 2 3/4 miles from school. He rode his bike from home to school and back to home. How far did Rory ride? Well, if to school is 2 3/4 miles, and he rode his bike to school and from school, which means he's doing that twice. So that's 2 3/4 miles. Okay. So now he's done this twice because he went on his bike. Okay. And he went to school and back from school. Okay, which means he did this twice. So that is 2 3/4 miles, add 2 3/4 miles. So let's do that down below. 2 3/4 plus 2 3/4. Okay, now again, start off the same. Bring our 4s over. Okay. Oh, sorry, I need to leave room for my whole numbers. So bring the 4s over. Now we're adding our numerator. 3 add 3 is 6. Now numerator is now bigger than my denominator, so I need to do some subtraction. So I know how many 4s fit into 6. 1 4 fits into 6. which means I'm carrying 1 over, and then I subtract 4 from 6. I am left with 2. So that is 2 and 4. Because remember, this is actually 4. That's what that is. That is, if we were drawing a picture of this, okay, that is a whole of quarters. Okay, so there's 4, 5, 6. Okay, see where that's going? This is 2 pieces left over. The whole 4 pieces are over here. So we have 1 there. Now we add our whole numbers. So 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So you end up with 5 2/4 of a mile he rode. Now, because we are using fractions, remember in part 1, we talked about reducing. Okay, now you could use manipulatives for this if you'd like, or you could use division. I'm going to use division because it's the one that you're going to be using later as time goes on. So if I was looking for the greatest common factors here, one thing I can look right off the top of the bat, because these are quite small numbers, is both of these are even, which means both of these are divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide both by 2. I'm going to get 5 and a half. Okay, and I know that this is lowest terms because 1 being at top doesn't allow for me to reduce it any, and they're both not even numbers. Okay, so there we go. That is lowest terms, or the 5 2/4 reduced. Unless it asks you to reduce, you do not have to yet, but as time goes on, you will have to be reducing or going into lowest terms for every single fraction you do, so you might as well get into the habit of it now. Okay, remember, these are the greatest common factor. That's what you're dividing by. Okay, that is adding for mixed numbers. Now let's do some subtraction. Okay, if you're subtracting mixed numbers, let's start with 5 and 3/8. Subtract 1 and 1/8. Okay, again, I'm going to start with my fractions, and just like normal, my denominator just slides right on over there. And now I do my subtraction up top. So 3 take away 1 is 2. I don't have to do any carrying or anything here. That's wonderful. No regrouping. And then I'm going to do my subtraction for my whole numbers. 5 take away 1 is 4. Nice and simple. That is subtraction. We've done addition. So that is lesson 26, course 1, adding and subtracting mixed numbers, part 2.